Okay, so we'll just start if you can tell me how long you've been living in this flat.
Yes, so in December it will be 4 years, exactly, yes.
Okay, and where did you live before?
Before I lived in Wester Park, it's another area in the city center, well, west side. And this used to be, I lived there for 25 years, something like this, in an old rental apartment. But it was above a snack bar and a cafe, and there were trams and buses and the containers for the garbage. It was very noisy, and I could only get sleep like 4 hours a night because of all that. It was horrible in the end. It got busier and busier through the years. And then one day I came back from a long travel, being in nature for 3 months in Colombia on a tropical island. And then I came back in this noisy place in the middle of the city. And I was just sitting there like, I would like to have something new with an elevator or something, where it's quiet next to the water. I was really like thinking like this, and then I look online because I have the subscription for a Woning Net already all these years. So you have like the points build up, and then this project emerged on the website that you could register for it. And I came looking a few times with my bicycle. I couldn't go inside, but looking around in the area, and I was like, oh yeah. And then I was looking around in the house, up to the house, and I was like, oh, I would actually only really like to have a place on this side all the way up. But you don't get to pick your houses. They offer you a house. So in the end, on a Friday afternoon, I saw a number on my phone that I didn't recognize. I called back, and it was the people from Almere having the last house to offer me, and it was this one, the only one that I wanted. Well, at first they offered me another one on the north side, but I didn't want it. Then they were surprised because it was bigger. Then they said, then we only have this 38 square meter on, well, I was like, and I had to decide on the spot. I was like, you are offering me a penthouse now on the southwest side of this building on Overhooks? I said, yes. Okay. I was really like this. I manifested the shit. Yeah, I really did. It was magic.
Why did you prefer this one as opposed to the other one? Just because it was facing on this side?
Yes, because it's the sunny side. My old house in Wester Park, I loved also the position. It's exactly the same position almost. And the afternoon light, when the sun goes down, there I'm really, really attached to this light. The afternoon light in the house. It gives a golden light, and I just love it. And that's exactly what I got.
That's great.
Yes.
So it was a big shift from your old apartment to this one. How would you say your routine changed?
Oh, I can go to bed at 10 o'clock if I want. Instead of, having to wait until the snack bar closes with a lot of noise at 2, 3 o'clock in the night, 3:30, boys hanging around with scooters under your window, shouting, calling you names when you ask them to be quiet, threatening you. It was so much stress. And so much anger and so much sleep deprivation, and the last year or so living there, I stayed a lot in friends' houses because I just couldn't be there anymore. And now when I'm here, if I want to sleep, I can just and it's quiet. And also going on from Central Station to here on the ferry, it's like this meditation minutes, like, and then you arrive here and you have this sanctuary, this island in the middle of the city. Yeah, it's really nice. Yeah.
What does a typical day look like for you? Do you work from home?
I work from home, yes, so I do coaching. I don't know, so it's, yeah, it gives me space to create. It again makes me very creative. I think also because everything is new and they are building so much around, it gives a lot of new energy also, and I really feel it. Like, yeah, I have a whole new phase in life living here, because I finally have the peace and quiet to evolve, basically. Yeah, I got really stuck in the old place. Yes.
And the days that you are not working, do you also spend a lot of time at home?
Yes, yes. I think when I came here, just after I moved in, Corona started. And that was for me a blessing. I spent the last 10 years in recovery. I was heavily addicted to alcohol and drugs. And in this December, I am 10 years free of alcohol and drugs. But the whole recovery period was very, very hard, especially in the old house, because I couldn't get any sleep. That's what I needed most in my recovery. I mean, when you're drinking, it doesn't matter because you black out. Yeah, so, but what was I saying?
So when you came here and the lockdown started.
Yes, in my recovery, I already very much used to solitude. So for me, the whole solitude wasn't a problem. I was already used to it. But being here in this luxury and in this quiet, with the whole lockdown going on, for me it was paradise. You know, all the people were complaining that it was so difficult to be alone. I'm used to it. I do my yoga practice, my online practice, I do my meditation, I do my reading, my studying of my spiritual texts, all my books, making the place look beautiful. I did everything myself, from the floors to the paint to the hanging of the curtain. I do everything myself, so I spend a lot of time just making everything pretty. Yes, and starting up business. So I'm making websites and starting up the coaching business. That's what I've been doing during the lockdown. Nothing really changed for me after things opened up, because my life is more solitude. My life is not so social as it used to be. I don't go to bars and clubs. I go to concerts. I love music, but it's not like hanging around in bars in town and drinking and seeing many people until 3 o'clock in the morning. It's not like that. It's not always easy, but I'm happy to be here to get used to this different life. Yes. And one more thing I wanted to say about this. Yes, so actually my yoga studio is in town. There's 2 studios. It's not mine, it's the place where I work, but that's where I work a few days a week. So that's actually, I really have to go into town to work at the yoga studio. So I'm not only inside isolating. I drag myself out of the house sometimes. But it's very easy for me to isolate. And but so I really have to make an effort to meet people and do stuff. Yes. Yeah.
You mentioned that you were on the waiting list to get this flat for a very long time.
Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit about the point system and how you achieve more points?
Well, you don't really. It's a matter of having a long breath, as we say. I don't know if you can say this in English, but you just have to pay your contribution every year and wait and save it up. And I knew I'm an old squatter. I used to squat when I was 16. I live alone since I'm 15. Been taking care of myself. So I always knew my house is the most important thing. My teeth and my house. That's my basic.
Two very important things in life, I agree.
Yes. You know, and no matter what happened or how far down the drain I was, I always managed to pay my rent. I have to sit on my house, no matter what. Even if I can't eat, I pay my rent. And this is what saved me, because also I was very aware of the points that I had to keep. At one point, maybe 10, 15 years ago, they changed the system where it wasn't, before it was automatically, it was prolonged, your registration. But at one point they changed the system where you had to pay 50 euros every year and prolong it yourself. And many people lost their registration this way because they forgot. And I think that also, I don't hear any journalist or anything writing about it, but I think that also caused many people to lose their registration, while you have the waiting lists as well. So I was always very, you know, in the back of my head, I was always aware of the list. And at the point that I really, really needed it, I striked and I got it. But it was, yeah, you know, it was an awareness. I knew that one day I could use the point, almost like the ball card you just gave me. Yeah, it was like I have this card in the back of my pocket.
Yeah, it was kind of like a constant investment.
Exactly.
Okay. And is there something, when you moved in, because you hadn't seen much of the flat and of the building, is there something you wish you would have known before you moved in?
Actually, when I moved in, oh my god, as soon as I got the keys, I threw in a mattress and my stuff, and I just slept on the floor. But I walked in the first time, I already said yes, and it looked so small. I was crying. I was like, because I knew my last house was also 30, it was the same size, but you know, because I'm a bit older, I have the right to something a bit bigger, and when you came in here and there wasn't any furniture, it looked so much smaller. I was crying and I felt like I was back in, like I was a student, like why, I'm 52, 50 at this time, or 49. You know, living 3 by 3. I felt a bit fogged. But then as soon as I started decorating, it grew bigger somehow. It was growing. I saw so many possibilities. And also before I moved in, I saw the drawings and I was looking a lot on Pinterest. I was way into the tiny house movement thing. So really, yeah, looking to build furniture, multifunctional, and you know, so I had fun decorating it. decorating the small place. Yeah, and yeah, it worked out fine, I think.
Did you already have furniture when you moved in, or did you start?
This
to
one I
acquire?
already bought when I was 18. For my first, one of my first, one, yeah, it was a long story. But this one, and it had to come with me. It was a really very difficult to move it, but I had to have it. I had to buy a new stove. I didn't have any money when I moved in here to decorate. I was like broke. And but I didn't, and I hadn't. Well, it's a personal story, but it's a good story. My mother died about 4 or 5 years ago. So just before I moved in, my mother also died. I hadn't seen my father for 20 years. When my mother died, my father contacted me that now he was so old, he didn't see me for so many years, and my mother died, and he really wanted to reconnect. And that was very brave of him. So I said, okay, let's talk to him. And exactly in the same time, I heard that I got this house. I reconnected with my father, and it was really nice. And then he said, I have some money to give you. And it was exactly the 5,000 euros that I needed to buy the stove, the floor, the paint, the truck for moving, you know, to rent it. It was exactly the money that I needed in the exact right timing. It's like divine timing all the time.
Everything fell into place.
Everything fell into place.
Yeah.
So yes, because, yeah. So, and from there, that point on, I can start building now my own life back up. Yes.
You mentioned that you changed the floor. What floor did you have underneath?
There's just a concrete floor under it. So most people put, what's it called? Laminaat. Or cheap wood, or, but I knew because it has floor heating, I want it to be tiles. And because in the summertime it's a cooling system, I wanted it to be tiles because they stay more cold and the heat gets spread more evenly, and it looks, it was going to be expensive, but I was looking online and I found a very cheap rest. Yeah, so I could buy it for a couple of hundred, way too much. I still have a lot downstairs. So I had piles of stones that I had to drag them in all by myself. It was a lot of work.
Wow.
Yes, and I put it down. I worked with the big tools, and yeah. So I put everything down myself. Yes.
And was that so? All these changes that you did—the painting, the hanging of the curtains, the floor—was this gradual, or was when the first year you moved in, or the first few months you moved in?
The floor I did immediately. It was the first thing I did, like the first week. And the painting just white. Painted everything white, basic. Put the floor in, put the furniture in. After that I started slowly building up. The curtains I did first because I knew with these big doors, I wanted to have curtains like this to keep the insects out and the birds. Because if you want to open your doors in the summertime. So that was like just stuff that I already knew before I moved in. Oh, big window. Like I already. It's also because I love the building and the decorating. So.
Other than the stove, did you also have to buy any other appliances or fit your kitchen?
No, because it's standard kitchen. Yeah, well, everything else. Yeah, the kitchen was in, but everything else you have to, it's just your own stuff. I built in the
The wardrobe?
yeah,
The
the
shelves.
wardrobe, the shelves. Yeah, I built it. Yeah, there's not so much, not much more in here.
You did quite a lot of changes. That's amazing.
Yes.
Okay, so you mentioned that some things that you like about your home is the afternoon light.
Yes.
That you've managed to put your identity and your style into it.
Yeah.
What are some of the things that you dislike about your home?
I don't like the kitchen to be so prominent. That's why also I put this thing. I don't want to be looking at the kitchen all the time. It could have been just it is just a little bit too small. Like, you know that I have to put this thing in the middle of the room. Okay, now it's dry outside, so there's plenty of room, but no, when it's winter time and everything, you know, you can put it, it's, yeah, like the table, it could be, it could have been just a touch bigger. Like if it would have been, have 1 meter on one side, yeah. But, yeah. But I don't like the walls on both sides to the neighbors. They didn't isolate it. You can hear everything. It is crazy. If you have these very new houses, why does it have to be so audible? I don't understand. When he closes his door, he opens his cupboards of the kitchen. He really slams them. So when he's home, I can really hear bang, 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 bang all the time. I rang his doorbell several times, please. He's not home many times. They're subletting the house. So I already threatened him, if you don't calm down, I will tell the people at you. So, yeah, I'm sorry, I have to. At one point, I'm not going to Almere. Yeah, there's people living there, they're not supposed to live there. I'm not from the, I'm not the police, but I did tell them, listen, I know you're not supposed to live here. As long as you live there, abide to some rules, and please keep the noise down, because it's very, very audible. Yeah.
And in terms of, for example, like other comfort, like you mentioned that the heating and it's also cooling. How has that worked for you?
I think I had to pay when I moved in here. I got a bill from Warm aan het IJ, €800. That's the heating. How? Yeah, that's the heating that the builders used. So why do I have to pay for the heating the builders used? Also, they gave me a toilet bowl, dirty, because the builders used this place as their cantina. I've been fighting with the Warm aan het IJ over these bills. They said, no, you... I said, your system is not working right. First I have to pay this, then I have to pay every month a lot of money. Well, it should have been cheaper when I moved in here. You told me it was going to be energy saving and it's all very good system. So the bills will... I pay way too much money. I've been telling Aimere and everybody many times already, please come have a look, things are not working. Also the heater in the bathroom is not working. They say I'm crazy. They say, no, 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 it's working. But then they're not checking it. So now I just paid. Because they started threatening me with deurwaarders and shit. They're like incasso. For what?
For complaining, they threatened you.
Yeah, well, they threatened to, it's the incasso bureaus. So they threaten you if you don't pay, that they will, yes, or they take your stuff because you cannot pay. Or even they can kick you out of the house because you cannot pay.
And do you know if this is a problem that other neighbors have, that
Other
the bills are very
neighbors
high?
have it, and they put it also down with the Stichting Woon. They are an organization. It's called Woon, Live, or Habitation, and they say that they have lawyers that they are trying to figure out what went wrong, but I told them the whole story. They said they were gonna work on it. Now we are 3-4 months later. Nothing. The bewonerscommissie say, oh, they are onto it. There are other people having the same problem. They're onto it. I don't hear nothing. It's the whole summer, the heat. I could feel everything was off. Here it was cool, but the floor in the small room and the bathroom and the small hall, they were warm. So the heat was in the floor. I told them several times, the heat is on in the floors. That's why I'm paying, because it's not working right. And the heat is there, it's going. I told them, they're not responding. I'm like, okay, I just work my ass off, pay it off, because I want to keep the house. And I'm sick of it. It gives me too much stress. And then when this in Holland, if you get angry with people on the phone after 10 times, then they say, lady, if you talk to us like that, we're not gonna talk to you anymore. Then they write you on a blacklist for being aggressive. There's just, you just move around in circles the whole time. Because when you get frustrated, they don't call you back. Then they say, yeah, but this person.
Yeah, so they stop taking you seriously which is absurd, yeah. What, for you, how would you define housing quality? What for you is important?
Price. I mean, already this is considered cheap, but I went up 3 times because the old house, I stayed there for a long time because my rent was 285 euros a month. Because I moved in there 25 years ago. So they can only move the rent. It was very cheap when I moved in. So maybe 200. Not even euros in those days. So, through the years, it only moved up to 285 euros or something. So that was a big year. I paid 685, I think. So that's 3 times more. That's a lot of money. And then you get subsidized, but now I'm making too much to get. Like, even if I make 50 euros more, I already don't get my. So that's, but still it's not 1500, but 700. Then also, let's say 700, because with the service, then the heater, way too expensive, 90 euros a month, electricity, same. Then I have my health insurance, 250 euros. Television, let's say, then you have your, I don't know, let's say 1300 a month. That's like my basic costs for living. Keep it up. And then, so I have to make around 2,000, 2,500 a month, at least to have a bit of a life.
Do you feel your flat is affordable for you?
Right now I made a way, yes, I can do it. But it's every month it's like, okay, it's not like I have money in the bank. It's exciting every month, but still, first rule down, no matter what, rent gets paid first. As soon as the bill comes in the email, it gets paid. Yeah.
You mentioned that you would want perhaps a couple more square meters. Anywhere in particular, or in just the whole flat you would want a little bit more space?
Yes, the whole apartment. I mean, just like the bedroom. Yeah, it's alright. This, yeah, just everywhere. I would have liked it if the kitchen, if it would be. I'm still thinking about doing it myself, to make like big things hanging from the ceiling, like big glass doors or something, that you can really shut it off, like really have extra kitchen space. Like, yeah, I would like that. And then just have a little bit. I'm not complaining. But if I would want to live here with somebody, it would be too small. It is really like, oh, you're alone. It's like they give you this stamp, like you have to stay alone for the rest of your life anyway.
That's something that we've realized, that a lot of the people here in Amsterdam, participants, they all live alone. Do you feel like the housing conditions that?
Yeah, maybe subconsciously. Like. I don't know even if I could live with somebody, but that's not the issue.
That's another story.
That's another story. But yes, it does feel like, I mean, I'm really lucky to have this place. There's a bit, but and in this area and everything, but it does feel like you get put away. So a little bit, like, you know what I mean? It's also because they pay no attention to it is new, so they should follow up if it is all working properly, if it is, the questions that you are asking now, I would have wanted from Aimera. That they come here and sit and talk to me and really ask me what's going on, without telling me, you're not allowed to do this, you're not allowed, you have to do it like this. The fuck? I am paying rent, you have to come and ask me if the product that you are selling me is satisfactory. And this is not happening. And I cannot complain, or I cannot put down like, okay, I'm not gonna pay rent until you fix this shit. I can do, but I cannot take the chance to lose the house. Never. And I do feel like the situation it is now. And also I'm not rich, I'm not making loads of money. It always feels like you have to be happy to have a house, so you better stay put, stay calm. Don't make any waves.
And what makes you feel safe at home?
What makes me feel safe at home? I feel, I really like all the cameras downstairs and sometimes the door system is broken, people can walk in. I sometimes see people in the hallways that I know they are sleeping maybe in the cellar space, because they sneak in the night. I've noticed a couple of times. So, but still, I feel it feels like, it's very luxurious. All the cameras and the elevators and the sliding doors and the card systems. It feels very grown up, very jet setty. Yes.
And do you feel safe in your neighborhood?
Yes. Yeah, but I'm not scared. I travel the world on my own. I go to dark places in Africa and South America, so. But Amsterdam is more dangerous. I guess maybe even more dangerous than death. No, I don't think so.
It's dangerous in other ways.
It's dangerous in other ways, yeah. But it's everywhere. I feel very uncomfortable with the new trend in Amsterdam that they put explosives everywhere on doors. You don't know this? It's a big problem all over Holland, basically in big cities, Amsterdam. They're hanging explosives on houses, on businesses, but big, like firework bombs, like Hamas style. Yeah, like even if you have a fight with your neighbor, you can have crazy young guys putting fireworks on your... it's a thing. When I just lived here 1 year, downstairs on the other side of the block, it was a big explosion next to the playground. Big explosion. The whole wall blew out of the house. Shit like this they're doing in this city. So this is, I'm always looking for, what are they doing?
Keeping an eye out.
Always keeping an eye out.
And do you feel you have privacy at home?
Yes.
Even in your balcony?
No, that's why I built the... And also it's, the neighbors... If I have visitors, I don't have, I keep my voice down. If I want to have private conversation on my telephone, I go inside. Yeah, so no.
What do you use right now your balcony for?
Basically for the wash. Yeah, I have my hammock, my plants. The extra space, that makes it look bigger. And it's still work in progress because I don't like I want to do it more, make it more one still. But I have many plans with this space to make it more to make it more like to use it even more, you know. Because, yeah, but I have there my coffee in the morning.
You mentioned that there had been some cleaning issues in the building. Was this in the communal areas, like in the hallways?
Yes. For example, there's a children's hand on the window here to the... It's been there for months. So they don't clean the window.
Clearly. And you also mentioned that you've had some problems with neighbors. How important is it for you to have interaction with your neighbors?
I would have liked it if it was more friendly. I mean, I'm not someone who complains easy. If you want to throw a party, play music till 4 o'clock in the night, it's okay if you tell me. You know, and it's not every day. If you do this sometimes, you talk to me, and you know, we can talk to each other. Hey neighbor, I'm throwing a party tonight. Okay, have fun. But the way it is now, I don't have any contact with them because they're in hiding, because they're subletting. And this guy is never home anymore. And when he's there, maybe twice a month, he has a new habit of playing loud music, suddenly. But he's never there. And he's the guy that I had to call the police on for a few times. Also, he did it with several neighbors, women. There's another girl living next to him, and there's a lady living down from him. He all sent us messages in the middle of the night at one point, like invitations, you know what I mean? Trying to... So, and if you refuse or say, you know, like, hey, why are you writing me a message in the middle of the night? I'm not interested. Narcissistic personality disorder, gets angry. You know, so you are the one that is in the wrong. So he's ignoring you in the whole way, and it's very uncomfortable. And every time something's happening, I'm not ringing the doorbell anymore. I did it several times. Also to check on the girlfriend if she wasn't beaten up. Yeah, so he's angry with me because I call him out on his shit. You don't do it with these guys. You know what I mean? He's only like, he's 25 years with serious mental issues and drinking problem. So yeah, this is, it's bothering me.
How do you think that your home, your own personal home, impacts your well-being and health?
For me, very well. There's one more thing I wanted to say about these neighbors, because they are 25, 24. I know there's a problem for young people getting houses, and I really, you know, I want everybody to have a house. But I do feel like they put me in a student situation. I'm an adult lady. I don't have to live in a place where it feels like I'm living in a student housing project. That's what's bothering me. But now I've closed off. I'm very happy in my space. For me it's very beneficial. And I've got it under control because I'm not a pussy. So...
Do you feel that's only in your floor, or is that in the whole building?
It's in the whole building.
It's more 25.
Yes. And it's a lot of young boys with young men, with single young men with psychological problems, and the rest of us is ladies with jobs, single ladies. And that's not good.
No, it's conflictive.
It was the also last month, some guy moved in to the first floor. So again, a young guy, or maybe 30, I don't know, also maybe with some psycho. Anyway, he made a big mess of the first floor with his rebuilding. Lot of dust and dirt and water, all of. So, me, I'm also impulsive. After 1 week of shit, I rang the doorbell like, hey, would you be so kind? They just cleaned the whole floor, and then 1 hour later it was. So I ring the doorbell like, hey, would you mind to clean up? No, just normal. I get abused like, you bitch, are you fucking crazy? Do I have to call the police? I'm calling the... Not like this. You know, you get threatened and abused. I see this guy come, I just pretend I don't see him. It wasn't me ringing the doorbell. It's fucking uncomfortable.
Yeah, you don't need to hide from me.
And then you know, then it's like, you know, then I have to think, oh yeah, I'm too impulsive. I shouldn't, you know. Why do I bother? So, but what happens after a few times of trying to participate or being social at least? I mean, you're not ringing the bell like, you know, not starting. It's like, hey, you are new. Can you please? I am your neighbor. Instead of saying, hi neighbor, my name is, and yes, no. You start getting abusive. So what happens at one point, yeah, you close your doors, you close your eyes, and you stop participating. And this is exactly what they don't want. It's also what I didn't want. But this is what happens. I don't care, I can do it, but it's not nice.
You mentioned that you were kind of into the tiny home movement. I see that you managed to decorate it in ways that, even though it's a studio flat, it feels like it has very separate areas.
Yes.
Was this something that was important to you?
Yes. But also, I feel it's like a little girl, you know, when you were playing house, when you were small, building little huts with pillows and sheets. It feels like that. I feel like building little compartments, like opening, like also this thing. I just love these little things. Like so. Now I have. It's just. You know, like, oh, now I have a little house. I can go in like, bye-bye. Yeah, I really like it. Like a little dollhouse.
Okay.
Yes.
And has the last days changed how you view your own routine? Has it made you aware of other things in your house?
Yeah, I'm like a tiger in a cage.
So you do need those extra square meters.
Yes. I'm pacing up and down a lot.
Okay, perfect.
And then I'm taking, like, oh, I forgot the... Going back. Okay, walk up and down again.
Okay, so that's all the questions we have. I don't know if you want to add
Alright.
anything about your home that I didn't ask.
No. Yeah, well, you know, also I say, okay, it could be a bit bigger. For me, you know, the old Amsterdam houses all used to be these sizes. And then you had, like, for example, they're called pijpela. And you had the window in front and the window in the back. All the old houses in town, you can see they're all like this. They're all these sizes. But then they used to live with entire families in spaces like this. 14, 15 people. I think it is again happening now with the housing problems that we don't know. So I'm complaining that it's small, but I'm so lucky to have this place. It is, for me, it's big enough. I mean, I'm not complaining. I'm just saying that, well, yes. So it's like living in a boat or in a, yeah.